All right, so let me get to the Chargers notes that I have. This is going to be about the schedule and then all the extra notes that I have. Just reiterating probably a lot of stuff that you guys already know, plus a little bit more stuff that I found. We just came off of Super Bowl 60, Seahawks and the Patriots rematch. Now they're going to play week 1 to kick off the 107th NFL season in Seattle. Seattle equals 107. So that means 107's connections this year is going to be big. Now, this is going to be the first time in history the NFL season is going to be kicking off on Wednesday. Pretty odd, right? Well, Wednesday equals 37 and 44. Two numbers connected to the Chargers. Lightning equals 44. Chargers are lightning bolts. 37. Los Angeles equals 37. And that game will be on the day that leaves 113 days left in the year. Kobe Bryant equals 113. 113 is the 30th prime number. AFC is right now looking for the 30th win for Super Bowls. And the word 30 equals 37. So I feel like that's pretty significant. Now, let's just go on. I feel like, LA equals four, right? This first 4 games for the Chargers is real significant, because it seems symbolic to me. So week 1, the second time in history the Chargers playing the Arizona Cardinals in week 1. They only did this prior in 2014, kind of like the Super Bowl date, 214, Super Bowl 61. That year was the Chargers' 45th season in NFL. Remember, Super Bowl 61 is on the 45th day of the year, and all the 45 connections that I found, But also, that Super Bowl was in Arizona, and it was the Patriots and the Seahawks' first matchup in the Super Bowl. Now the Chargers are going to be playing Arizona, one out of 2 teams that's in their 107th year in the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals, the Chicago Bears. The Chargers are starting versus the Arizona Cardinals. Then they go on to play the new 61 team, Las Vegas Raiders, equals 61. The team who originally won the 1980 NFL season, the 61st season of the NFL. They were the Oakland Raiders. That was Super Bowl 15. That game ended with 37 total points, like Los Angeles equals 37. They did that game versus the Eagles, the original 61 team. Philadelphia equals 61. The Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers equals 80. Trump is 80 years old, and he turns 80 61 days before the Chargers' establishment date. And then we go on to week 3. They play the Buffalo Bills in their new stadium. Buffalo Bills equals 45. Remember, Super Bowl's on the 45th day of the year. Then they end this stretch in the current Super Bowl winning team, the Seattle Seahawks Stadium, which is in Seattle, which equals 107. So the Chargers start their season off versus the 107th NFL season team. Then they go on to play the new 61 team in the Super Bowl location. The first 2 games is in the Super Bowl location. Then they go on to play the 45 team, like how the Super Bowl's on the 45th day of the year. Then they end this whole thing playing the champions who live in a place where the name is 107. Don't that seem like that's just like pointing towards them potentially being the champions this year? I mean, I might be thinking it, and it might be a little stretch, but oh well, it seems like something to me. I feel like it's a big deal. But let's just get on to what I think is going to be happening. My key points, my key games that I'm pointing out for this year. Week 1, Jim Harbaugh can get his 67th regular season win to kick off the Chargers' 67th season as a franchise. Joseph Harbaugh equals 67. Their new acquired offensive coordinator that will be a big part in this year and Justin Herbert's career, especially if they're doing what I think they're going to do. Michael McDaniel equals 67. And Herbert can get his 53rd win in Los Angeles. Los Angeles 53. Now, this is a long shot, but what if the Chargers is 9-0 by the end of week 10? That day, Justin Herbert will be playing his 107th career game. Potentially, if they're 9-0, could be getting his 61st career win. I know that's extreme, but it's not too far-fetched. I mean, teams do go on long win streaks to start the season. It might not be common, but it's a potential. But Herbert 107th career game is going to be on ESPN. And we all know ABC and ESPN will be hosting Super Bowl 61. That game is going to be 37 days before Jim Harbaugh's birthday. Los Angeles equals 37. So week 10, pretty big. Then we go on to week 12. Herbert will be playing in this 106th regular season game versus the Patriots, the team that was just in the 106th Super Bowl. He could potentially be getting his 60th win in that game, like how the Patriots just lost Super Bowl 60 in the 106th NFL season. Now, week 13 is my original, week 12 and week 13 is my original prediction for what I think could realistically happen, and that's Justin Herbert playing in his 107th regular season game and potentially getting his 61st win. That would mean the Chargers will end week 13 9-3. Jim Harbaugh could get his 80th win in that game. And we already established Trump is 80. Los Angeles Chargers equals 80. That would be Jim Harbaugh 47th game coaching the Chargers. Chargers equals 47. Trump is the 47th president. Right? 80 is the 57 composite number. Chargers are in their 57th season in the NFL. 67 as a franchise. Then we go on to week 14. The Chargers play the Las Vegas Raiders, who is now the new 61 team. Herbert could be going into that game already having 61 career wins. And we already talked about how the Oakland Raiders and the Raiders franchise is already established to 61 by winning the 61st NFL season Super Bowl in 1980. You get me? But remember, in that same season, the AFC Championship game was the Chargers and the Raiders. That game ended with 61 total points before the Raiders ended up winning the 61st NFL season Super Bowl, Super Bowl 15. That's pretty wild. Versus the 61 team, the Eagles. Philadelphia equals 61. Now, that's it for the regular season games. Those are just games that popped out to me that just seem significant. As time goes on, especially during the season, there's going to be things that pop out. So let's go on to the end of the season. Now, I could see the Chargers ending this season 12-5, and they could potentially be winning the AFC West. That'd be ending their 16-year drought, not winning the AFC West. If that happens, that would mean Jim Harbaugh get his 83rd win as a coach. Now, recall, 2016 was the 45th president being elected, Trump. And, yeah. So 2016 is a pretty big year because that's the year that the Chargers left San Diego to go back to LA, and that's the year that Kobe Bryant retired. Now, for the playoffs, I see the Chargers having their first game in SoFi Stadium. That'll be Justin Herbert's first home game in the playoffs, and he could potentially be getting his first playoff win, becoming 1-3. He's lost 3 games. He could finally get that first win in SoFi Stadium. LA equals 13. That will give the Chargers their 13th all-time playoff win, and it's crazy because at the end of the 2025 playoffs, Justin Herbert, for all 3 games he played in the playoffs, has only thrown 106 times, 106 attempts. Now, to start the 2026 playoffs, he could be throwing his 107th attempt in the playoffs during the 107th NFL season. That's pretty wild. So, I see the Chargers going on to play 4 playoff games: wild card, divisional, championship, Super Bowl. That would give them 16 all-time playoff wins and also 16 wins for the 2026 season, because I believe they're going to be 12-5. Winning 4 games will get them 16 after a 16-year drought and all the connections with 2016. Now, I can see a 6th overall pick playing the 1st overall pick in Super Bowl 61. Justin Herbert is a 6th overall pick. We have plenty of players that's the 1st overall pick. One is the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams from USC, LA, or Matthew Stafford, another number 1 overall pick. We can go with a full circle moment, Chargers and the Bears, or we can go with Battle LA in LA. Who knows? But let's keep it going. How many games do I see the Chargers playing in the playoffs this season? I see them playing in SoFi Stadium 1 time before the Super Bowl. The Chargers have only played 50 games in SoFi Stadium. So to start the 2026 season, they'll be playing their 51st game versus the Cardinals. Then they also play the Rams in SoFi Stadium. So that's just an additional game on top of their home games. So they will end 2026 regular season with 59 all-time games inside SoFi Stadium. So that means their first game, which I believe should be Wild Card Weekend in SoFi Stadium, they're going to be playing their 60th all-time game in SoFi Stadium. I believe they should go on because they're not going to be the number 1 AFC seed. Maybe that's the Bengals. Who knows? I believe they're going to have to go on the road for the divisional and AFC championship rounds. And they win those games, and then they go to Super Bowl 61 in LA, playing their 61st game inside SoFi Stadium. How about that? With all the connections I found with Justin Herbert in 61, that seems beyond perfect. And why he had to lose 3 playoff games the way he did. Straight up perfect. Now, as of now, 2026 start, the Chargers have only they're only played in 33 all-time playoff games. So that means 4 additional games will give them 37 all-time. We already established how much 37 matters. Los Angeles equals 37. Wouldn't that be perfect? Their 37th all-time playoff game, playing in their 61st all-time game in SoFi Stadium during Super Bowl 61 in LA. Now, my offseason, here's decodes that I found. Let me just give all the information that I packed on and loaded throughout this whole offseason. Justin Patrick Herbert equals 131. Now, 131 is a pretty big number because championship equals 131. Super Bowl equals 131. Well, 131 is the 32nd prime number. Super Bowl 61 will be 32 years since the Chargers played in the Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 29. 32 years later, they have the quarterback name who equals 131, the 32nd prime number. This quarterback, Justin Herbert, was born 37 months after the Chargers played in that Super Bowl 29, their only Super Bowl appearance. Now, let's fast forward to when Justin Herbert finally got his first win in SoFi Stadium, the first year that they started, the Chargers' 61st season, 2020. The first year SoFi Stadium opened was the first year Justin Herbert played in the NFL, the Chargers' 61st season. Justin Herbert got his first win versus the Jaguars in SoFi Stadium. That game had 68 total points. Championship equals 68. That day left 67 days in the year. Now, the Chargers in 2026 are in their 67th season as a franchise. That first win was on 75 date numerology, 75 months before Super Bowl 61 in SoFi. Remember, the Chargers' only Super Bowl appearance was in Super Bowl 29, the 75th NFL season. And that game ended with 75 total points, the highest scoring Super Bowl in history. What if Super Bowl 61 is going to surpass that? Who knows? Well, the Chargers, or anything potentially with any history breaking records could pass and be taken over in Super Bowl 61. The Chargers ended the Super Bowl with 26 total points. Remember, it's 2026. Remember, Herbert turned 28 this year. 107 is the 28th prime number. We're in the NFL 107th NFL season. Let's remind you, the Miami player, Bam Adebayo, number 16. No, I'm tripping. Sorry. Number 13. LA equals 13. Broke Kobe Bryant record on Justin Herbert's birthday with 83 total points. Football equals 83. And all the connections I found with Miami, remember, go back to the other videos if you want to know. Then, We got Justin Herbert's first win in his career. Now we get, and the Chargers was 1-6 when he got his first win. Now we get Justin Herbert first playoff loss, which was versus the Jaguars. That game was in the Chargers' 63rd season as a franchise. They ended that season 10-7. When they lost to the Jaguars 30-31, that was 61 total points. That game ended 213 weeks before Super Bowl 61 in LA, the 213 area code. Now let's go back in history. The Chargers have only won one championship in their franchise. That was in 1963. That game ended with 61 total points. This is the same year Jim Harbaugh was born. Now, we fast forward 2026, Jim Harbaugh will be turning 63 years old. He turned 63 years old 53 days before Super Bowl 61. That's going to be on 63 date numerology in Los Angeles. Los Angeles equals 53. And he shares the same birthday as Bobby Ross, the only other coach to take the Chargers to the Super Bowl. And he's 89 years old right now. Los Angeles, California equals 89. Right? And in that Super Bowl 29, Jim Harbaugh was 30 years old. Remember, 30 equals 37. The word 30 equals 37. The Chargers are looking to give the AFC champions their 30th all-time Super Bowl win. Now, let's recall back. Remember when the Chargers won their only championship? Well, that was in the AFL time, right? Before they got inducted into the NFL, they won in the AFL. Well, the AFL was started in Chicago. Let's remind back. Well, why are we connecting Chicago? Well, the Valentine's Day Massacre was in Chicago, right? Super Bowl 61 is going to be on Valentine's Day, and also Oregon Establishment Day. We have Justin Herbert, the Oregon quarterback. Jim Harbaugh was drafted by the Chicago Bears as the 26th overall pick in 1987. Right? Now, if Jim Harbaugh goes on to play 4 games, like I said, he will be getting his 87th win in Super Bowl 61. Because if he won 83 games by the end of the 2026 season, with the Chargers being 12-5, that would mean he'd have to go on to win 4 more games, and he'll have 87 wins, like he was drafted in 1987, the 26th overall pick to the Chicago Bears, potentially playing the Chicago Bears in Super Bowl 61 in LA.
On 126, Kobe Death Day.
Because remember, 41 years ago, the Chicago Bears won their only Super Bowl, the 85 Bears. Then they went on to play in Super Bowl 41 versus Peyton Manning, number 18. Now they can play in LA equals 41, with number 18, Caleb Williams, after he just lost in his first playoff run to the Los Angeles Rams 61 days after his birthday. 61 is the 18th prime number. And Justin Herbert can follow in Peyton Manning's footsteps, number 18, and play his first Super Bowl versus the Bears. Remember, Peyton Manning won his first Super Bowl in Miami. Miami equals 45. Super Bowl logo has the Miami colors. Super Bowl's on 45th day of the year. Chargers' only Super Bowl appearance was in Miami. Drew Brees is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Drew Brees' name equals 45. He's inducted in 2026. He was drafted by the Chargers, won his only Super Bowl versus Peyton Manning in Miami. So the Chargers can start their 107th NFL season versus the 107-year team, the Cardinals, in SoFi, week 1. And then they can also end it in SoFi Stadium versus the 107th NFL team, the Bears. The only 2 teams that have been playing in the NFL for 107 years. Having a full circle moment for the Chargers, Herbert, Harbaugh. Remember, Jim Harbaugh coached Michigan. Played for them and coached them. Won them the national championship. Their stadium holds 107,000 capacity. Then we got Los Angeles. The 405 freeway. Take out the 045, Super Bowl on the 45th day of the year. It's a stretch, but we did that for 2014. Take away the 0 is 214, like the Super Bowl 61 date. The 405 has an exit. California 107 on Hawthorne Boulevard. The 107th NFL season. Let's move on. Justin Herbert equals 61. He was drafted in the Chargers' 61st season as a franchise. As of 2025, the Chargers owner, the Spanos, only own 61% of the team. Herbert graduated from Oregon as a biology major. Biology major equals 61. Justin Herbert ended the 2025 season having a 61 QB rating. That's directly from ESPN. You can go back and look at it. I have screenshots. They literally had it on the bottom of the screen. Now, the Super Bowl is on Oregon Establishment Day and Valentine's Day. Why does that matter? Well, Justin Herbert and his girlfriend released a music video called Lover Girl on May 7, 2026. The Chargers are in their 57th season in NFL. That video released 283 days before Valentine's Day. Super Bowl 61. 283 is the 61st prime number. Crazy. Now recall, in my prior videos, the thing that sparked it all, the Chargers beat the Eagles 107 days after Kobe would have been 47th birthday. Remember, Chargers equals 44, 47. Trump is 47 president. That was in LA. 41 total points. LA equals 41. Kobe sadly going at 41. Kobe Bryant equals 41. Super Bowl equals 41. That game was 61 weeks before Super Bowl 61 in LA. Kobe is from Philly. He made his name in LA. That game was broadcasted on ESPN, and it ended in a viral fashion with everybody criticizing Justin Herbert for how he treated the ESPN reporter. Wouldn't that be a full circle moment if this same ESPN reporter is the one that's interviewing him after he wins the Super Bowl or the Super Bowl MVP as well in that same stadium 61 weeks later? I mean, Trump did meet Jim Harbaugh on July 10th, 10/7, how they write the date in other sides of the world. 83 weeks before Super Bowl 61. Football equals 83. Bam Adebayo just broke the 83 record, breaking Kobe record. Now we got a new LA star, and that was on the new LA star birthday, the 28th birthday, 107, the 28th prime number. And to add on to it, with all the 61s, I do believe Justin Herbert has a potential to go to the Super Bowl. But I do believe he has a potential to win MVP as well. If they want to make this season all about Justin Herbert and the fact that he's went through trial and error for 6 years, and he's played his part into losing and everything, they can give him the MVP. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for your hard work type of thing, But also, the other person I think will win MVP is Joe Burrow. The COVID class, the class that didn't have an actual NFL draft, the 2020 class, with all the hantavirus and everything going around, with all the references back to Kobe Bryant, that 2020 year, can the COVID class, step up in the NFL, start making some noises all together? The 6th overall pick versus the 1st overall pick during Super Bowl 61. You get me? Joe Burrow, MVP. Type that into gematria, that equals 61. He plays for the Ohio team. Ohio equals 61. Joe Burrow been hurt for the past couple of years, missing the playoffs for the past couple of years. Who's to say they're just going to hand him an MVP this year for him playing his role? The year the Super Bowl is back in L.A. When the last time it was in L.A., he was in that Super Bowl and he had to lose it. And then years after that, he had to be hurt and miss the playoffs. And looked at as less than, even though everybody, basically say he's really good. But it's not showing in his career-wise. Hey, well, this year, when the Super Bowl back in L.A., we're going to give you the MVP and your name going to be stamped in NFL history. Here you go. Thank you for all your hard work. You get me? And on the other hand, Justin Herbert just go on to win the Super Bowl because he was destined to do that. We set this up perfectly for him. You get me? Last time the Chargers and the Bengals played, that was November 17, 2024. The first year Jim Harbaugh was hired. The last game-winning drive was 45 seconds left in the game. The 61st points of the game was scored. And then it left 18 seconds in the game. 61 is the 18 prime number. The game ended with 61 total points in SoFi Stadium, where Super Bowl 61 will be. With the Ohio team, Ohio equals 61. And the quarterback, who named Justin Herbert, equals 61. Who was drafted by the Chargers in the 61st season. Playing in SoFi Stadium, the first year SoFi Stadium opened. That seems perfect. You get me? And it seems like a lot of foreshadowing since Super Bowl is going to be on the 45th day of the year. But the reason why I say these teams can play in the AFC Championship is because this year will be 45 years since the Freezer Bowl with the Chargers and the Bengals playing in the AFC Championship game. Daniel Fouts equals 45, and he is now 75 years old. And we already spoke on how the Chargers only went to the Super Bowl in the 75th season of the NFL, with that being the highest scoring Super Bowl with 75 total points. So, at the end of the day, it seemed like it's destined for Justin Herbert, the Oregon quarterback, because Dan Fouts is the Oregon quarterback as well. The first original Oregon quarterback that went to Chargers. But Justin Herbert was the one that was going to be able to fulfill what none of the other quarterbacks was able to do for the Chargers. And also, the Chargers played the Browns. Cleveland Browns equals 61. Also 83, like football equals 83. They played the Cleveland Browns in SoFi Stadium October 10th, 2021 on 61 date numerology. And they beat them 47-42. 89 total points. Los Angeles, California equals 89. That game was on the 283rd day of the year. 283 is the 61st prime number. So the past, it seems like, when I just go back and look at the past, it seems like they've been setting this up the whole time. You get me? Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow for MVP. I'm leaving Joe Burrow just because he needs to have something stamped in the NFL history for him being that #1 overall pick, and they basically been dogging him out for the past couple of years. Same thing with Justin Herbert, but if he gets that Super Bowl win, all that don't matter. Chargers and the Bengals in the AFC Championship game seems perfect 45 years later. And that's all I got to say.